Hi, you've reached Burger King. To leave a message, press 1.
Hey, Burger King? Listen, I'm a bit of an idea guy. Like croutons, I thought of that. I got a great idea to make your burgers better. 2 words, buttery sauce, because that makes everything taste better. You with me?
Sounds good. It's almost as good as the new extra-long buttery cheeseburger from Burger King. 2 beef patties topped with veggies and a rich buttery sauce on a toasted bun. Now just 2 for $5. Or mix and match with the Flame Grilled Chicken Burger, part of the 2 for $5 deal. The new extra-long buttery cheeseburger, only at Burger King. Limited time only. Price and participation vary.
Welcome to the Storytellers Campfire radio shows, where we share knowledge, experiences, and pass stories from one generation to the next at our global campfire. We have a nice warm campfire going in the background to warm us up a bit, and we hope you enjoy the show.
More than 1 million wild animals are killed each year illegally. Poaching is a major threat to our country's wildlife. I'm Tom Barry. I'm an actor with a desire to preserve living space for wildlife. The Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust does just that. Works with private landowners to protect wildlife, to preserve natural habitats. To learn more or to work with the Humane Society Wildlife Land Trust, call 800-729-SAVE. That's 800-729-SAVE, or visit wildlifelandtrust.org. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. This is Charlie Checkers, your host for the show today. And today we're talking about one of the coolest inventions that I've come a pleasure of coming across in recent years. You want to know what it is? Fort boards! Awesome! Now, I remember the Lincoln Logs, Legos, plastic blocks, mini kitchens, even cardboard boxes. But while all of those gave us children hours and hours of fun, they still had their limits, right? So today we're talking to the big kid, August Grauby, the inventor of Fort boards. His sense of humor is childlike, and he is so funny. His childlike imagination has really led him on this incredible adventure. But before we get to our feature presentation of Fort boards, we remind our listeners to sign up for the Storyteller Campfire Puzzle Giveaway. So this year, in 2016, Storyteller Campfire wants to really encourage parents and educators and friends to really spend some quality time together with really some wholesome activities. And puzzles are a wonderful way to spend quality family time together. They're educational and they're fun. So there's a lot of people who post their pictures on websites and their social media pages, and they share their finished puzzles. But this puzzle is an exclusive puzzle. Storyteller's Campfire has a famous campfire logo. Now, this is a challenging puzzle because the image is of our campfire, and it's real similar throughout the whole puzzle. So when it's put together, of course, it's a beautiful puzzle of a warm campfire. So there's only 12 puzzles to be given away, out one each month, and here's how you can enter to win one. So each month for people to register or to become a member at our website, storytellerscampfire.org, or email us for a puzzle entry, and then you're automatically entered into the monthly drawing. You only need to enter or register once, and there's no charge for the entry or the registration. And we will announce the winner on our shows each month, and we will post it on the website as well. So, one last time, you can go to our website, www.storytellerscampfire.org, and click on the puzzle giveaway. Don't miss out. Go ahead and sign up. Well, we're going to take a short commercial break, and we will be right back.
Williams. Even though I never knew my father, Hank Williams, his legacy taught me the meaning of lending a helping hand. That's why I support the Orphan Foundation of America. OFA is committed to providing education, mentoring, and a workplace readiness for thousands of teens aging out of the foster care system. With the help of OFA's support programs, these young people can go to college and trade school, graduate, and make the leap from foster care to success. To learn how you can help, visit orphan.org.
Okay, welcome back to our show in progress. This is your host for today's show, Charlie Checkers. I have been trying to describe what this product is that children and adults both can use to create and challenge their imaginations with. It's durable, it's versatile. I just can't quite come up with the words to describe this product. So let's just see what Mr. Dad's seal of approval has to say. This product is winner of the 2015 Holidays Award. Had to say about fort boards and custom fort builder. They say, one of the great things about building something with your child is that you enjoy it as much as he or she does. The fort boards are no exception. They're delightfully simple. So each pack includes 44 8x8 panels and 46 connectors that allow you to snap the panels together at nearly any angle from 45 degrees to 180 degrees. So you can also get packs of design cards that allow you to customize your fort or igloo or whatever you're building to look like metal, looks like stone or wood. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of those pieces that you can customize your fort with, you can flip and write a color or put words on or anything like that. Now, these panels and this designs are from 5 years and up, but the littler kids can enjoy them as well with supervision, and the older kids will enjoy them without it. The seal recognizes products that promote father-child relationships with dad and kids to interact while having fun together. So that is from Mr. Dad's seal of approval. Congratulations, by the way. Fort Boards also made the Seattle Times list of educational toys, quote, that make kids jump for joy. So, listeners, let's welcome August Grauby, inventor of Fort Boards, to our warm campfire. August, welcome.
Hello, and thanks for having me on Storyteller's Campfire. I'm excited to be here.
You are so welcome, and we are thrilled to have you, and very excited. I know, August, that you remember as well as most of us growing up in simpler times that we used whatever was available to our surroundings. Our mama would let us have sheets or whatever we needed to facilitate our adventures, our huge imaginations to create that fort, the pirate, the spaceship. We used refrigerator boxes, trees, etc. Really anything we could find and could carry to the backyard, or even in the house. Like if it's raining, you can't go outside normally or mostly. So then we'd spend hours and hours with the cushions off the couch and on the chairs and the sheets over everything for a roof. We'd spend hours and hours blasting off to the moon, sailing the seas, fighting with gigantic octopus that was trying to drown us all. And it all seemed so real as, you know, we had the hose spraying on the whatever we were doing there, so it seemed so real. So, tell us about your childhood growing up in Oregon.
My childhood was very similar to that. I loved playing in forts growing up, and I think those were probably some of my favorite and most memorable memories from as a kid. My sister and I played in countless couch cushion forts and large appliance boxes, and also growing up in the country meant that we also had the great outdoors to just roam free in. And we were really lucky in that sense. And so we were pretty far out there, and farmers' fields surrounded our property on 3 of 4 sides, and just a few hundred yards away from that across the field was the start of the foothill mountains of Oregon's coastal mountain range. So there really wasn't any limit on how far I could explore when I was growing up. And since you're pretty far out there, didn't really have any neighbors my age to play with. So it forced me to be really creative and create my own fun. And my parents always encouraged this. And so I remember when I was maybe 7 years old, my dad built me a tree fort out in a large apple tree that we had on our property. And
awesome.
It was great. I would play in that for hours, and via a bucket and some string, I would continually bring up stockpiles of dirt clods from the freshly plowed field and apples from the tree, and I would keep them just in defense of any invading neighbors if they happened to come through. But, of course, no neighbors ever attacked, and so all I had was my imagination to play with up there as the apples slowly rotted.
Sounds wonderful.
But, it was great. It was a lot of fun, and I think I eventually determined that the tree fort was too exposed, and so I got a shovel out of the garage and just started digging a hole in the backyard. And so that hole was probably about 2 feet wide by 4 feet long and maybe 2 feet deep. And so then I dragged some logs over and covered the top of it with it. And so then I had my secure fort, complete with a little fireplace that I dug in one of the sides to have a little fire.
Awesome.
So, yeah, it was a very creative, fun childhood. So.
And you didn't burn anything down, right?
Not that time, but lessons were learned from my childhood.
Okay. Well, I saw the pictures on your blog about the one in the snow fort, and the dirt hole with the boards over it. That pole barn leaned dangerously, and it looked like you were pretty tuckered out in that last photo. So, I can see that you were busy doing all those things. So now that you're grown up, you've been to college, tell our listeners, because they really want to know about your education.
I went to school at the University of Washington, Seattle, and I majored in design management. So one thing that UW allowed you to do was to create your own major if you didn't really feel like any of the other majors they had were the right fit. And so what happened was I would take business classes, and I would see a lot of these students really know how to start and launch a business, but they didn't really have very creative ideas for that. So it was a lot of T-shirt companies and painting companies and things of that nature. And then I'd take design classes, and I saw that those students had really creative ideas, and they knew how to design engaging products that the customer would like, but they really didn't know how to take that idea to market. So what I did was I created a major that was halfway in between those two and shot to get both those skill sets on a preliminary level. So it really helped in preparing me for my current venture. I learned the basics of how to design a product and the process and that creative process, but also how to negotiate and read contracts and market a product and how to do sales and finance and things like that. So it was very helpful for my later life and actually extremely relevant. I think most people don't really end up working in what they studied in, so I got lucky there.
Yes, and you really enjoy your work. I can tell by the way your website and all that set up, and you're having so much fun. And that is the greatest thing, I think, when you really find something that you are passionate about and you love to do, and it's not really like working at all. So really your education gave you the technical. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, it did. The education gave me the ability to start in that industry, and so me starting my own company didn't start right away, and I worked a number of jobs before that, but all things that sort of led up to this and added to that skill set. So I started my career doing product design and then some engineering, and for the last few years I've been doing project management. And so each of those careers has different skill sets, and definitely taught me a lot of what I needed to be able to launch what I have down here and execute all of the tasks related to starting the business. And I realized, while thinking about this today, that one of my favorite jobs that I had during that period was kind of very Fort-related. So for 3 years, I worked at a design firm that did all of Boeing Airplanes' interior airplane prototypes. So what we would do, we would design these full-scale airplane mock-ups of new concepts for the planes. And I was in charge of the 737 interiors. So
oh, wow.
essentially what we were doing was making full-size adult play forts. We would try out new things and imagine new ideas and put them in and see how they worked and imagine how that would be in real life. And so instead of then, once these prototypes were done, instead of filling them with apples and dirt clods like I did with the tree fort, it was mostly filled with Boeing executives and airline customers checking it out. So, looking back on it, it was also very fort-related in a way.
Yeah, definitely. How about, can you describe your journey and, some things that happened along the way? I know you mentioned your factories that you visited, trying to find the best manufacturing partner to fit your needs, and how that process went.
Yeah, that's an interesting process. It's easy to find a vendor to produce your product. It's very difficult to find the right vendor to produce your product. So I initially didn't really know how to tell the difference between a good vendor and a bad vendor. I got quotes from roughly 20 different plastic injection molding vendors here in the U.S., and then I narrowed it down to 5 based on price. But I'll back up a little bit first just to explain what injection molding is. And that's the process that creates fort boards. And what it is it's the process that creates most plastic parts. So most products that you have in your life today that surround you, whether it's your cell phone or phone case or remote control, kitchen tools, all of those things are usually made by injection molding plastics. And basically what you have is you have this big steel tool that has a cavity carved out in it, and then molten plastic gets shot into that cavity. So in the instance of my board part, which is about 8 inches by 8 inches, my steel tool for that consists of 2 halves, and it's about 2 feet square when it's put together and weighs about a half a ton. And that tool gets put into a huge machine that's about the size of a suburban truck. And so that machine holds those, it's a very big thing, and that machine holds together the tool with the force of about 150 tons of clamping force. And so when that part is ready to be made, molten plastic then shoots into a little channel and fills the cavity in the middle of that steel tool. And then water is shot through these little cooling lines that are drilled through that tool to cool the plastic inside of there. Then after that, the 2 halves come open, and these small little pins push the part out of the tool, and it pops out, and the clamp closes it again, and you're ready for a new part. And so that whole process takes about 30 seconds in total to do. So they come off the manufacturing line pretty quickly. So anyway, to get back to how I found this vendor, I ended up scheduling meetings with the final 5 vendors that I'd narrowed it down to, and took a driving trip that started in Washington, D.C. and ended in Chicago. And over 4 days, I traveled 1,300 miles and visited 5 vendors. And it was a whirlwind trip, but at the end of it, I could really tell the difference between a great vendor and a questionable vendor. And
good.
It was important because while it's not necessarily rocket science to produce a decent plastic part, you have to have a really high quality for toys, because you don't want any issues with that. You don't want to have any safety problems or anything accidentally molded into the part or any dirt or dust. And so it's very important to find a really good vendor. So I was, at the end of that trip, I knew who I was going to go with, and they've been excellent. So it's been something, though, that you can find something easy. I could have found a vendor in Seattle, but there were 2 reasons why I steered away from that. And one is when you go to a place where the cost of living is high, like in Seattle, that makes your parts really expensive. And the other is geographic location. So shipping this product is very expensive. And if you can ship from the middle of the U.S., it's much cheaper than shipping from coast to coast. So that was another big factor.
All right. So I know that we remember playing out after dark and running around the neighborhood until the street lights came on or until we had Dad or Mom yelling or whistling or whatever the sign was, get our heinies home. Now, sadly, in today's world, of course, it's gotten more and more dangerous for children to be without supervision anywhere. Did that fact have anything to do or play into your thought process of trying to get the Fort boards to market into the public?
It very much did. This topic was something that really drove the product design to a certain extent. There's an excellent article in The Atlantic called The Overprotected Kid, and that talks about how it's not actually really any more dangerous for kids growing up today as it was back when we were growing up, but it's just sort of become our perception because of extra media that is around these days. So as a result of that, it's not really accepted for kids to be out on their own. And so kids don't quite have the independence they had as we did growing up. And the world isn't really theirs to explore like it was ours back then. And that can kind of stifle independence and creativity when a child can't go out and sort of create their own adventures and make their own mistakes. And
definitely.
Part of the reason I created Fort boards was to help counteract this. So in a fort, you are in your own imaginary world. So in reality, as a kid today, you might not be able to leave your backyard or escape the watchful eye of your parents. But in a fort, you can pretend that you're anywhere in the world. And over and over, I see kids do exactly that in Fort boards. So when I was doing the product testing, I would build a house for the kids and out of Fort boards and see what they did. And each and every time, as soon as they got in that house, the first thing they did was shutter every window close the door, and add extra pieces to cover every hole in that house. They really crave privacy and independence. And so with Fort boards, you can still have that, and you can imagine all of your own worlds. So you can still plant your flag on the moon and battle a giant squid on the high seas and drive a dune buggy across the desert.
Right, definitely. How do you think Fort boards compare with other products about the same, that try to do the same thing, creativity and imagination?
So the similar products in the building block category, it's a pretty established market, and a lot of those products do that pretty well. But the subcategory of fort building is still relatively new and untapped. So I've got a couple of competitors, and all of which I recommend because I think any fort building and playing in is great. So I have no problems with these forts, but Fort boards sort of has a leg up on them in a couple different areas. So first type of competitor is the one that has PVC pipes and fittings that sort of link the pipes together. And that can be a little bit hard for kids to get all that creative with. So when you think about it, like if you go by a house that's just being built and it's still all 2x4s that are up, it's kind of hard to visualize what that house is going to look like and what the layout of the rooms are. It's when something's a stick structure like that, it's a little bit difficult to be creative and visualize. And so that kind of puts those products at a bit of a disadvantage. And so Fort boards is more like building a house with bricks instead of wood. So when you lay down that first layer of bricks, you can instantly tell what size and shape that room is going to be, and as you're building, you can see what you're building very clearly. So it's a little bit more intuitive for kids because it's a solid object like that. So it allows them to get more creative with that, with Fort boards than they would other products. And the other type of fort building product that's out there is the kind that's kind of large bricks. So they're sort of oversized Lego types of bricks. And these are great for visualizations for, like, the reason I just said, is you can see instantly what you're building and it's easy to visualize. But they have a couple of problems. And one is that they just don't have the ability to make large spans. So, like, fort boards can make large unsupported roofs. And when, like, the large building block kind of things don't have that ability. They just can't make sort of an open room that you can crawl inside of very easily. And their other problem is that they also take up a lot of room in the house. So they're so big and bulky that most families, I think, don't want to own a product that takes up that much space and don't have that much room in their house. And Fortboards is designed to where all the parts nest down together in each other. So at the end of the day, it packs up to the size of a little less than a couple of shoe boxes very easily and can slide under your bed. So when you're done playing with it, it takes up practically no room in your house.
Yeah, cool. All right. So we're going to take another quick break so August and I can wet our whistles, and we will be right back.
Jennifer Coolidge. The American Heart Association says the disco song Stayin' Alive is the near-perfect beat for hands-only CPR. If you see a teen or adult collapse from cardiac arrest, you only need 2 steps to help save a life. Call 911 and push hard and fast in the center of the chest to the beat of the song Stayin' Alive. Disco is back and it's saving lives. To learn more, go to heart.org/hands-only-CPR.
Nationally supported by the WellPoint Foundation.
Welcome back to our show today. I'm Charlie Checkers, and if you're just joining us, we are talking to inventor of Fortboards, the big kid himself, August Graube. Now, I'm sure our listeners want to know about the company's spokesbot, Fortbot. Tell us about him. He is so cute.
Hi, yes. Fortbot has been a big hit. So I actually created Fortbot because of my own lack of ability as a salesperson. So I've never been much of a bragger. And so for me, I've realized that marketing a product, regardless of what product that is, feels really uncomfortable for me. Like I just don't like pushing something on someone else. And so it kind of always feels like I'm bragging when I'm talking about Fortboards. But that's why Fortbot was created, because Fortbot can sing the praises of Fortboards all day long. And it's been a great way for me to both find a voice for the company marketing and to get over my shyness. Plus, since Fortboards is gender-neutral toy, Fortbot is the perfect gender-neutral spokesrobot.
No, definitely. He's a great mascot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, August, that was a lot of work, but so worth it. Thanks so much for this inventive, interactive product, Fortboards. Now tell me, what's coming up next? What do you have in the works? Because I know you do.
So there's going to be new design cards coming out. So licensed design cards from Disney and Marvel. So you'll be able to build your Frozen castle or your Avengers fort, things like that. There will also be an accessories pack. So different things that you can clip onto your forts, whether that be flower vases or lights, things like that, wheels. So that's coming up soon for Fortboards.
Anything motorized?
Nothing yet, but potentially at some point. It'd be great to have some motorized propellers and things like that. So, awesome. It's something we're looking into.
Okay, now our listeners really want to know how to reach you, and how do they purchase Fortboards?
So you can follow Fortboards on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, pretty much any social network that's out there. And then you can buy Fortboards at www.fortboards.com. And a pack of Fortboards costs $110, and they come in red or yellow. And design cards, which look like make your fort look like it's made out of wood, stone, or metal, cost $24. And then you can
Awesome.
flip those cards over and draw and color on them.
Oh, that sounds very reasonable. Well, I would really like to thank you, August, for being here with us at our warm campfire. But also, we want to thank Mr. Dads, for you can find out how to contact them at mrdads.com, the Seattle Times. I'd also like to mention to our listeners that the Ballard News Tribune has an article about the Fort Boards by Shane O'Harms. And the date of that article is 7/22/2015, if you'd like to check that out. Also, thanks to the Fort Bot. He reminds us, all our listeners, to sign up for the newsletter about Fort Boards. So, parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, everyone, to go to www.fortboards.com to order this extraordinary interactive product that uses a child's imagination and teaching a lot of other cool skills as well. And last but not least, Storytellers Campfire and staff for all their hard work, XRQK Media Group stations, and KNJO AV News Talk, but especially to all our sponsors and listeners, for without all their support, educational and literacy program would not be possible. August, what would you like to say?
I just want to thank you for having me on, and I want to thank all the listeners who tuned in.
Awesome.
Thanks, everyone.
This is Charlie Checkers. You as well, sir. We've had a wonderful time. This is Charlie Checkers signing off for today. And remember to dance like no one's watching, singing like no one's listening. Good night.
Breaking news for the puzzle giveaway. You can register to win an exclusive edition of Storyteller's challenging and beautiful campfire puzzle. There are only 12 puzzles to be given out for the entire year of 2016. Anyone can register to win. Visit online at www.storytellerscampfire.org and click on the Campfire Puzzle Giveaway page and register, or send us an email for your entry. You only need to register once. No purchase necessary, and we will announce the winner each month on our shows and post on our website at storytellerscampfire.org.
At American Family Insurance, we help protect what you've achieved so you can fearlessly go after your dreams. Find out how we're helping others pursue their dreams and declare your own at amfam.com/dreams. American Family Insurance. Insure carefully, dream fearlessly.
American Family Insurance Company, American Family Mutual Insurance Company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin, 53783.